I imagine the support angle's huge right now, and trying to get support out to, everybody's trying to reduce costs of support and get that out of the human channel and into AI channels, just for, everybody's sake. It tends to land better for everybody until you get to needing, tier two or tier three support.
Yeah, oh, 100%. And yeah, and I think this is the critical thing right now. So the management of an AI process in this way, I think that we're all very excited, right? Anybody in tech about the possibilities of what we can do with this technology. But what we've tried to do with Opal is really constrain it into how do we make the best possible AI system that will allow you to post edit your content in a way that represents who you are as a brand and your brand voice, as I mentioned earlier on. And actually, that's important not just from just can we translate content better, but it's actually important from a governance perspective as well, because I think that as everyone runs at these things, what we're seeing is that the control of how work gets done when you empower somebody with some AI tooling can just become a disaster, right? So all of a sudden you've got anybody with an AI tool thinking that, hey, we can just push some content through this and let's see what the output could be. But you actually still need some control over that process, or content's going to get regenerated multiple times by multiple people with no control over the quality of the output, and B, you don't even know what you're spending anymore. So we often talk about how we think that companies are going to have this kind of moment in a few months where they wake up and they're thinking, we're spending all these tokens. Like, who's using all this? And how do we exert some control over that? So what we're trying to do with Opal is put some sort of framework around the way that you're able to harness it to be able to kind of manage that content at scale and have some kind of control as to, again, the right way to be able to handle any kind of given content type, and then also to make sure that you have a very clean channel through which that content needs to get pushed through in order to go to global markets in a way that's meaningful for you.
Yeah, and I think you summarized kind of the biggest problem with AI that I have and I see others having, which is it can do so much so quickly that you have to have the human resources and the process and all the protocols on the backside to be ready for all that content, because there's just this tsunami coming at you, right? What do
100%.
most people outside of the industry kind of underestimate about this work?
Well, they're really underestimating the fact that while there are capabilities within AI to do certain languages and even certain languages well, first of all, training it and making it relevant to your business and your terminology and your brand voice, as I mentioned, is very, very important. But then also being able to control just the volume of content that's going through that system. What we've experienced just recently is this explosion of content, because people, even in English, are generating more content than they've ever generated before. It's very easy now to be able to kind of mine data within an organization and pull these abstract kind of ideas together and formulate it into a piece of content that's actually quite compelling. But you're empowering your whole team to be able to do that across like a very often across very large organizations, and that's resulting in this exponential kind of creation of content that needs to be managed. And I think that being able to kind of wrap your arms around that and put processes in place is going to be the next challenge for a lot of major enterprises, because as it stands today, I think that there's an experimentation phase that we're living through right now that is resulting in huge amounts of content that's getting generated, and I think that that's exciting, but also at some point going to become a little bit of a load that businesses can't bear. Where do you find the best content, and then how do you handle that content for global markets is a critical aspect of what people need to think about.